Saskatchewan's agricultural industry has been going strong for over 120 years or so. I've invited Walter Kohanski, who's had a passion for farm equipment and building models. Tell us a little bit about his story and how that came to be. So, Walter, first of all, thank you for coming here and bringing all of this with you.
You're welcome.
Tell me a little bit about how you started with the hobby and what it was that caught your interest with some of the farm equipment.
Well, when I was a youngster on the farm, my brother-in-law, my favorite brother-in-law, gave me a coping saw, would you believe? And
you have to tell me what a coping saw is.
Oh, just one of those little high things with a little blade on it.
Okay.
And that gave me the urge to cut up every board we had on the farm. Much to the chagrin of my dad, because lumber was hard to get in those days.
Yeah.
It was the 1940s. And from there, I started with a tractor in '46. That my dad's first tractor that he bought. I beat a path from the garage to the house and tried my first model, 1 inch to a foot scale. And it worked so splendidly that it just cut on like fire. And from there on, I've been doing this every winter. It's a winter project. Once the baseball is on it, finished. And every night for 3 or 4 hours. And this is the result that you see here.
So when you are a child, I guess, you would have been in your teens, early teens?
I was 12.
12?
Mm-hmm. In fact, I started when I was 8.
Wow. And you worked with your family on the farm growing up. So obviously some of this this vintage type of equipment. And
I grew up with it.
You grew up with it?
Yes.
So when it sparked an interest with you with how it looked, and you said you made it to scale. So this, be very clear that these are not bought in a package and assembled.
Nope.
You made these all from scratch.
This is all from scratch.
So to go to the barn and take a measurement, come back and cut something
correct.
to make that to scale.
That's correct.
So the size of the pulleys and the wheels and everything like that, because some of this looks store-bought, quite frankly. Maybe start with the steam engine, I guess, would be the earliest type of thing. What types of things are made out of that?
That is a case that you can see at the Western Development Museum, and that's where I got my pattern from. The tank is actually 2 pizza tins soldered together. This is a piece of metal pipe. The wheels are metal shaped, and then the spokes are, in this one it's just a heavy gauge wire. On the back wheels, the spokes are made of clothes hangers. And
they're all cut and then soldered into...
That's right.
And what made the outside of the rim of the wheel?
Just a piece of metal, just a piece of tin. Just make it round, and that might be the most difficult thing to use because I don't have anything specific to make wheels, and they're always off kilter somehow or other. But these turned out pretty good, actually.
And you have electric motors in
I have
them, right?
one electric motor inside.
And when you hit this switch here, it actually works.
Yes. And you can go forward or backward.
With the other...
Hit the switch again.
I see. So you grew up with this and started building. If we look at the horses, many people have worked with horses, some still do. There's a tank in that wagon there?
Yes. Yeah.
So that actually holds
water. And then underneath the seat where he's sitting is a discarded windshield washer pump.
Oh.
And that, when you turn the switch on, that actually pumps water from the tank.
So it's a working water wagon.
It's a working water wagon.
Yeah.
And they were always made of wood, and you must keep the wood moisturized, so that thing has to be full of water all the time.
So it doesn't leak.
so it doesn't leak.
Right.
Yeah.
Do the horses have names?
Horse, no, I have.
Okay.
I have 96 of them in harness, and those were purchased at on 33rd Street at the hardware store.
Oh, at Mayfair Hardware.
Yeah.
Bruce Thomas will love you for that.
Yes, and I made the harnesses are just vinyl, and they're glued together. The bells and the hames are just wire put together and painted. Everything is vinyl.
Right.
Again, the wheels on the tank are crochet, no, not crochet,
Knitting needles?
the hoops that you use for sewing,
Oh.
and I just cut them down to size.
Oh,
they're,
does
they're a little wider, so I cut them
Mrs.
down.
Kohanski know about that you took those?
Oh, I bought those. And the spokes are, of course, skewer sticks,
Okay.
and they're just glued in.
And maybe move over to that, is that our Rumley or?
That's a Romney oil pull.
Right?
Yeah.
How did you make the spokes in those wheels?
Those are spent staples
Staples from a...
from cardboard box.
Oh, I see.
When you have cardboard boxes, you have
Yeah.
staples in them.
Yeah.
That's what those are. These are just plain sheet metal.
Right.
The front oil pull part is actually wood, and the front is the same. It's staples with just a light gauge metal.
Right.
For like the same as those.
And were you looking at scale? The steering wheel, I think, is interesting as well. If just
just the copper wire,
right,
and wrap it around something that will make it shape, solder it together, and put spokes in.
there's something to do on a Sunday night.
Every night, Randy.
And when you got the scale, did you have something to go to and measure?
This particular one was done from a pamphlet.
Oh, okay.
They had the measurements of it, and so the flywheel and the pulley are working.
And then maybe into the combine here. What make is it? Do you know?
That is, I believe, that's an old Massey Harris.
Right.
And that's during the war years where they didn't use paint on them.
Right.
They just used that. And this is the, I believe this is a battery case, a spent battery case
Right.
for a gas tank. All the rest of the stuff is just sheet metal.
And bits and parts, and the spokes are the spokes in the wheels.
Same thing, clothes hangers.
Took a coat hanger and cut that up,
Mhm.
and then soldered that in there.
Mhm.
And
There are no sieves or anything inside. It's just,
Right.
But
uh,
there's the battery.
right. And on the front end, making the teeth.
This is, again, just pieces of wood
Right.
with cedar. I believe this is cedar, and the just glued together, wood and wood.
Right.
Yeah.
And painted.
Mm-hmm.
And what drew you to making that particular one? Is that something that you had on the farm?
No, but the older the machine is, the more fascinating it appears. We can drive down the highway and I'll see a big John Deere tractor and it doesn't do anything for me. But if I drive by another old McCormick Deering,
Mm-hmm.
I dig it do double thick.
That's what you grew up with.
That's what I grew up with.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, the detail on it is just remarkable, and I know that Simon and Dean are doing the best to get close-ups of that. And the last one that you have here is this Oliver tractor.
Again, this was, both these pieces were done from a book.
So when I've been looking at the wheels are, I think, purchased, but the rest of the tractor.
And the tires, yeah,
Yeah.
all the wheels.
And the cultivator.
And this, of course, has a hydraulic pump there.
Right. That lifts
the
it.
hoses.
And what are the shanks in the cultivator itself made out of? Just looks like
just plain metal, and these are sheet metal cut with a pair of scissors.
And the lights work on that.
This one lights up for night work. Front and rear.
And the gauges.
All the gauges are just pieces of pipe.
Right.
And cut them off and just glue them in with heavy glue.
And I mean, even the handles for the levers on a lot of the pieces, they look so delicate. Are they made out of pins or?
These are actually staples again.
Wow. And what do you think keeps you going with a lot of this work that you're? Because it is work.
Brings back the 40s.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to walk behind my dad's plow in bare feet, and as a kid, I would just marvel how the furrows was folded nicely. Thrashing machine, I used to crawl all over it when the thrashing was on.
Mm-hmm.
Binder, I used to stand behind the reel. When Dad was bindering and all the sow thistles in my face. So it brings back memory.
Well, we're going to thank you, Walter, for bringing all of this down and sharing a lot of that Saskatchewan history and your youth and your many years at the Great Western Furniture Company.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your contributions there with you and Mary. And I wish you all the best, and I hope we'll see you doing this at some more of the museum and fall fairs and any other event that we can bring you out to.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.